This is part 2 of a 2-part series around expired domain names, specifically how to use them to make money online. Now, it's one of those topics where there will always be new products out there, and new in inverted commas, based on this strategy, and they will be being promoted and continue to be sold. So the reason I made this video was just to provide a bit of background on expired domain names, because it seems easy to use, but the actuality is that it's not, and you need to have a pretty good understanding of what is sitting in behind the expired domain names that you need to have some knowledge about before you can successfully use them to make money online. So if you're just starting on your online journey, or you're still pretty relatively new to the make money online niche, and you would like to be better informed about expired domain names, then please stay on and watch the video. Hi, my name is Jenny Rue from Nomadic Hero. Now, this channel is about providing information to help you in setting up an online business. If you need some help without any confusing garbage, then see the link in the description below. There's lots of free training that you will find quite valuable. Now, last, if you haven't been to this channel before, please subscribe, ring the bell for future updates, and give me a thumbs up. Right, let's get started on part 2, expired domain names. If you haven't seen part 1, there is a card at the top of this screen that if you click on, it will take you to the part 1 video in this series. Now, this one, we are looking at 2 areas. We're looking at how to get the right expired domain name, if there is any such thing as right, but this is the best way to do some due diligence before you actually buy the expired domain. A lot of people just buy them and they don't really do any homework at all on them. The other thing we're going to look at is the strategies. There are a number of pros and cons that attach to following down this road of using expired domain names, and what I'll try and do there is spell out both the positives and the negatives of this particular strategy. Now, an expired domain is likely to have some history, and the history I'm referring to are backlinks and content. And what we need to do before you purchase any expired domain is to check for the content first up, and also check for the links. What we're wanting to do is make sure that they haven't been used for spam purposes historically, but you'll find you'll have some trouble. Best thing you can do is make sure that you don't buy an expired name that's got spammy sort of links or spammy content. So the first thing we're going to do is we will go up onto a site called expireddomains.net, and we'll have a look at how we can investigate the background of these issues. Now, we're on the expireddomains.net site. We're looking at domains lists, and what you can see here are all the different domain lists that belong to perhaps GoDaddy, SEO, etc., etc. There's a lot of information here, and you can spend a lot of time trawling through this. I'm just going to go straight to GoDaddy expired domains. Okay, so what we've got here is it says this filter is showing up 41,000 domains. So you've got the domains here on the left hand side that have expired. You've got a lot of information moving across here. This is backlinks from different domains. This is when the domain was actually first found in the founded by archive.org. This one, number of crawls. This is an Alexa ranking, and you'll see a lot of them are zeros, which means that it hasn't been ranked. A desirable Alexa ranking would be under 1 million, so the lower it is, the better it is. These ones are indicating a .com, a .net, .org, and so forth through here. And what's important here is the traffic. This is the valuation in US dollars and the current price. There is an auction going at the moment, so the highest price for this is 12 US dollars. There's only been one bid. There's 7 hours to go. Now what I'm going to do here is, with all of these things, it's useful to have this sorted by traffic, because at the end of the day we want to find one that has quite a volume of traffic. Now I've moved to the next page because I couldn't find a name that I wanted to take a look at. Now the issue here is that if you're looking for a domain that you want to relate to a particular niche, you're going to try and get one that's got some keywords in it that makes some sense to the searches that will go on. And as you can see, there's not a lot of choice here at the moment. I did pick this one up at bratsandbeer.com, and it's got these backlinks here. There's 199 backlinks. These are Majestic external backlinks, and we'll have a look on those shortly. And there's 14 other links related to domains. We'll take a look at those. This was started life in 2004, which means it's got a good age on it. What you don't want to do is be getting ones with 2020, very young ones. The likelihood of getting any backlinks will be just about zero. It's been crawled 113 times, so we've got plenty of room to have a look to see what content is sitting in the past. Remember, we're concerned about spammy content. It hasn't been ranked. We've only got a .com. See, there's only one registered here, and it's telling me there's 426 visitors or some sort of traffic in a month. The valuation price of this domain is $9.59, and the bidding is higher. It's at $1,015, and there's been 75 bids, so it's obviously reasonably attractive here. I'm in the GoDaddy domain list, but there's a whole bunch of associated tools down here that we are going to use to help us on our way, and this is how you get a sniff and a flavour for what this domain is doing. So what we're going to do to check out our content in the past is go to Wayback Machine. So I'll click on that. Okay, now if you've never seen Wayback Machine, what it does, it shows you the dates over the years that this domain has been in existence. Now it says the calendar view maps the number of times bratsandbeer.com was crawled by the Wayback Machine, not how many times the site was actually updated. So there is a difference there, but as you can see at the top here, all these little lines represent the times at which Wayback Machine has taken a snapshot of what the website looked like at that time. Now if I go back to say 2007, I've just clicked on that. These little dots are showing me when all the snapshots occurred. So if I say, okay, well let's have a look and see if we can see what the website looked like on the 10th of May 2007. Don't expect anything terrific. Oh, okay, it's not looking terribly exciting. We've got Brats and Beer, and this is probably what it looked like in those days. There. So you've got a lot of archives here, so these will all be blog posts down here. Okay, well certainly not spam, and it's sort of what you would expect. Let's take another look. That's 2007. Let's move up a few years and we can take a look at it. We'll put 10 years aging onto this website. Okay, now it's starting to look a bit like a website that we're sort of more used to, albeit it's 2017. This is still 3 years old. Now this is still a blog, how to cook bratwurst. It's got some advertisements coming down the side here, a sort of standard type website, how to make it. So we've actually got a for real website sitting here underneath this, how to cook it, recipes, grill, all the way down here, pro tips down the right hand side. So certainly from the looks of this, we've got a genuine domain name that's got a blog sitting underneath it about bratwurst and beer, and so I don't think we need to worry too much about spam at this stage. But it's interesting to see the styles of these things and see how they change over the years. And sometimes, you know, if you decide that you really like the look of this, you can probably bring it back to life, but with a more modern flavour about it, if that is what you want to do. I've just looked at the 28th of July 2020 here, and it's not looking too much different to the one I saw. But anyway, they've let this one go. It's expired, so it is for sale. Okay, so here we are in Majestic, and it's put bratsandbeer.com in for us so we can check it, and it says want to continue analysis, get more for free. I don't have an account here, so sign up for free, but I suspect you might get a 7-day free account and still have to put cards and stuff in. But what you would do is check on Majestic, and this one here, you need to use the historic index, and what it will do is go back and pick up all the backlinks that exist, and you can see where they have come from. And as you can see, it's telling me that if I want to see a historic index, I need to get a pro account, and you'll find in here that you need to you can get a free account for 7 days and then cancel it out, I think is the way it works. But anyway, it says crammed with over 5 years of links, our Majestic Index is most comprehensive publicly available source of backlink data. So this is where you definitely need to come, even if you only use the 7-day free access, to check out what those links look like to see whether they're spammy or not. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how you do that. I'm sorry I don't have an account here, but you can certainly do that for yourself if you're interested. Now I'm going to go back, and we're back here. Let's just see if we can access those other 14. Okay, this goes into a website called SEO Kicks. It says I've got to create an account here too, but I can see number 2 here. Remember it said 14? Okay, there's the 14 links that we were looking for, and you can actually, once you've set up your account and had a look in here, you can have a look and see what each of these I know that's wiki, so that's going to be fine, but it looks like it's in German. Okay, here's another one. It's a forum, so that's probably okay. There's another wiki one, another wiki one, the Bucky channel. Okay, but you get the idea. This is what you do. So you can just click straight into this, set your little account up, and have a look. And just as a rule of thumb, if the backlinks are coming from 0 authority sites, is an indication. If they are complete rubbish, they're totally irrelevant, is a pretty good clue. If they're coming from you know, a Chinese or a Russian or a sort of a country that you would not expect it to come from, it's quite likely there could be spam. And also if some of the actual anchor text and the keywords and so forth that are being used to search are in fact spammy, it's probably a good indicator. Now, as well as manually analyzing the quality of the backlink, we can also look at Majestic, the trust flow metrics, to actually validate what we've just manually had a look at. You can check out the scores on Majestic SEO. Now this is just a demonstration site that I've put up here. You'll see here there's something called trust flow and citation flow. Now these scores have been calculated based on, for the citation flow here, it predicts how influential a URL might be based on the number of sites that are linked to it. Okay, so it's link volume. It actually looks at the number of links. So the more links that the site has, the higher this number is going to be. Okay, so that's number. And also with trust. Now this predicts how trustworthy the URL will be, and this means that it looks at the backlinks, how near they are to trusted and aged domains. And the links that come from trusted neighborhoods are obviously more dependable when compared to the links that come from ones that are less trustworthy. So simplistically, this is a quality measure and this is a volume. So quality versus quantity type measure. And what you do is the program will put it together here to give a profile, and the profile looks at trust versus the citation. Now you can actually just click here and it will grow those graphs for us. Now what we've got here are the referring domains. These are the domains that the links have come from, and this is the actual external backlinks. Now without getting too complicated about this, you can see basically the way they've done this is they've put these citations, the numbers of backlinks will be less than a value of 1. So what they're doing is they are looking at the ratio between quality versus quantity. Now if you had the same numbers on each side, obviously they would all match up along this line through here, but that's not the case. And the rule of thumb is that the relationship between these two should be somewhere between 1, which is same on each side, or a number that sits in here somewhere. So this number should be at least 25% of the citation flow, and that's why you see this stuff all clustered underneath this 1-for-1 graph here. Expired domain names that you're looking at, if there's one that's quite spammy, what you'll find is it'll have a lot of backlinks, and they will hover at these low levels through here because they won't have very much trust. So really the guts of what we're looking at, this number 15 and how it compares to the 23, and what we've got more than 25% here, so 15 divided by 23 is probably closer to 70% than any. This is SEO, and if the trust flow is way too low, the chances of spam backlinks are quite high. And if you get in a situation where you really don't know which way to go, what you do is probably get one that had a reasonably high trust flow compared to citation. So the trust, the quality is obviously means that the backlink profile of the domain is mainly comprised of high quality links. Now I've got one more item left on my checklist here, and that is to check the number of drops. Now we use a tool called Domain Tools Whois to check how many times a domain has been expired before being made available again. Okay, I'm back at bratsandbeer.com. I go over to related links over here. Now I know I'm on the GoDaddy site, but what I was going to do is go down to domaintools.com, and if you're interested you should go and check all of these out. Now I'm on the Whois lookup for this site. It gives me a lot of information here, but what it does tell me is the registrar history, which is what I'm looking for, is drops. There's only been 2 with 1 drop. And the thing about having lots and lots of drops on these means that it could have been used for all sorts of purposes in the past that you may not pick up unless you go through each and every one of those Wayback Machine sites. So if I go into hosting history here, now we haven't really got too much to look at for this particular site, but it's worthwhile doing this just to have a look at the historic IP addresses, name servers and registrars and so forth. And it does tell you what can I do with history. You can have a look at the domain transfers and the dates and the places they were transferred. You can check for criminal activity, phishing, fraud, and obviously just for fun you can see how many times it's moved and what the old websites used to look like. So buying expired domains names sounds easy on the surface, and you know, just buying a domain is actually super easy to set up. But if you don't do your due diligence when you buy these things and think about what strategy you're going to be using, really it's just a bit of a gambling mentality that you're following here, and you really do need to understand what you're getting into when you start purchasing expired domains. Now if you're buying domains one after another, domain jacking, there is the requirement that you do need to continually monitor how they're going, and there are costs associated with just holding different domains. Depending on what strategy you use, if you've got your own website or websites, you will need hosting, and if you're doing email marketing you will need an autoresponder. So this is something people forget. There are costs involved in even following down buying numbers of expired domains. Now, the learning curve for doing this is quite steep. You need to know about SEO, domain values, and we have even referred to deep linking in the earlier video. That was part 1 video. I do suggest that you go and have a look at that if you've done this out of order. We need to consider the content. Some of the content, if the due diligence is not done, can be quite unreliable because you won't have any idea if it's honest, if it's accurate. Are you going to open yourself out to some sort of potential lawsuit because that's the case? Also, you need to be considering just the domain history and whether you've got potentially toxic links that you haven't investigated. The one thing about domains, you will always be chasing them because depending on what strategy you're using, traffic will always be an issue for you. And if you start doing just redirections, using 301 redirections to perhaps a landing page as an affiliate marketer, you may find over time that your traffic does start to dry up and disappear on you. So it can be unreliable. And if your traffic is actually coming, for example, from YouTube, because the channel may still exist, but you've spotted that it was the traffic was going to an expired domain which you have purchased, what would happen if the owner of that video channel suddenly removed all those videos? All of a sudden you've got no traffic at all. So the traffic can be unreliable. And the other thing that needs to be mentioned too is some of the traffic can actually be bots, and with bot traffic, it's not going to get you any sales, because at the end of the day you do want to be able to make some money from selling things, and bots are not going to give you sales, and they will be totally untargeted. So it could look as though you're getting a lot of traffic, and in fact you may get absolutely no sales because it's terrible traffic in the first place. Using expired domain names is something that always looks super shiny. It's a good shiny object. It's very attractive for beginners because they think they don't really have to do very much work, and that makes beginners a very good target for people who sell a lot of the products around expired domain names. It's not a strategy that is really recommended for beginners if they haven't done their homework. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and if you haven't been to this channel before, please subscribe, ring the bell for future updates, and give me a like. If you want to find out about a real structured way for beginners to make an honest and genuine online business, then see the link in the description below this video. There's great value, free training available for starting as an affiliate marketer. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.